Now, the reason we're going to go over agent search and RAG engine is because really these are most likely to be the ones that you're going to use when you're building agents or when you're using RAG with services in GCP. Before I dive into agent search, let me just explain kind of the differences between them. So agent search is like the fully managed search or RAG solution here, right? So you've got managed connectors and indexing by GCP. The chunking is managed, the embeddings are managed, the indexing is managed, the retrieval is managed. It also builds into the solution the grounding and the citations in the actual agent responses. I've also built a little like web UI that we can look at of how this could be incorporated into like a web app or an HTML page, a web page. It's super easy with agent search, at least like you have the option of making it super easy. With RAG engine, it's a little bit less managed, but you get more configuration options as a result of that, right? So you get the corpus ingestion is managed, but you configure the chunking, the embeddings, the overlap of the chunks. You also get access to retrieval APIs, which you can use over your corpus. So you get basically a little bit more control over things. And I think that in most use cases on GCP, either RAG engine or agent search is basically what you're going to use. Vector search, on the other hand, which we're not going to go over today, is basically a vector database. So if you ever used a vector database or one of like the open source vector databases, like ChromaDB or Pinecone, vector search is basically that on GCP infrastructure, right? So you're not worrying about the infrastructure, but you're worrying about basically, everything else. And so then you would have to configure the actual like RAG pipeline. Vector search is just like the indexing of the chunks themselves. So it's much lower latency, but for practical purposes, RAG engine, as far as I understand at this point, RAG engine and agent search are going to be the most relevant and the most useful.